So, hello everyone. Today we're discussing a very important geopolitical issue. What is happening in the Taiwan Strait and why did a Taiwanese leader met China's president and why this being called Beijing's gambit and Taipei's gamble. So let's break this down. First of all, let's understand the background. China consider Taiwan as its own territory. And next, Taiwan, however, function like an independent country with its own government. So what is happening? China considers Taiwan as its own territory and Taiwan however functions like an independent country with its own government. So this creates a constant tension between a Taiwan Strait issue. So चाइना जो है वो कंसीडर करता है ताइवान को एक अपनी टेरिटरी के अंदर, बट जो ताइवान है वो अपने आप को एक सोवरीन इंडिपेंडेंट कंट्री मानता है कि उसके पास एक अपनी ओन गवर्नमेंट है. ठीक है. सो रिसेंटली क्या हुआ है, व्हाट हैज़ हैपन दैट एक सीनियर लीडर जो ताइवान की अपोजिशन पार्टी से, उनका नाम क्या है, उनका नाम है हमारे पास चेन ली यून, जो कि ताइवान की मेन अपोजिशन पार्टी के लीडर हैं. उन्होंने विज़िट किया है चाइना में और उन्हें किसको मिला है, वो चाइनीज़ के प्रेसिडेंट जो हैं जी जिनपिंग को वो जाके मिले हैं. तो ही मेट a Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, this is not just a normal meeting, so it has a deep political meaning. So why? What is the meaning? Like, what is the deep political meaning is there? So first of all, China की एक new strategy है. Earlier, China used military pressure to control the Taiwan, but now what is China is doing? That China is changing its approach. So instead of force, now China is using the soft power. So first, there is a growing realization in the China that its aggressive policies have emboldened the Taiwans to self-rule, enabling democratic parties to remain in power for the last decade by inviting KMT chairwomen. So, I'll tell you what is happening. Simply, there are two parties and also who are the main actors. First main actor is Xi Jinping. So he wants Taiwan to eventually unify with China. So he wants that Taiwan to unify with the China. And what Taiwan is considering that he want to protect its democracy and its autonomy. So there are two Taiwan parties here that is explained in this article. Taiwan has two parties. First is DPP. ताइवान की दो पार्टीज़ हैं. बेसिकली एक डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोग्रेसिव पार्टी है और KMT डैट इज़ कुओमिंतांग पार्टी है. ठीक है. कौन कौन सी पार्टीज़ है ताइवान की? पहली पार्टी जो कि एक DPP है, डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोग्रेसिव पार्टी, जो कि अभी करंटली रूलिंग पार्टी है. ठीक है. जो वहाँ पर एक पार्टी अभी जो रूल कर रही है वो है DPP. और एक हमारे पास KMT है जो कि ओपोजिशन पार्टी है, बट बेसिकली ये मोर ओपन है टू टाइज विद द चाइना. ठीक है. मतलब ये चाइना के फेवर पे है और ये चाइना के अगेंस्ट में है. ठीक है. ये रूलिंग पार्टी है और ये चाइना के साथ मोर ओपनली टाई करने के लिए रेडी है, वो KMT पार्टी है. नाउ व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपन, एक सीनियर ताइवानीज अपोजिशन लीडर जो है वो मैंने बताया था ची चेंग ली यून, वो उन्होंने विज़िट किया है कहाँ पर, चाइना में. ठीक है. एंड मेट जी जिनपिंग, वो जी जिनपिंग के जाके मिले हैं. नॉर्मली एक रूटीन होता है डैट, बट दिस टाइम व्हाट इज़ हैपनिंग दैट इट हैज़ अ बिगर पोलिटिकल मीनिंग. सो व्हाई इज़ दिस मीटिंग इम्पॉर्टेंट? फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज दैट चाइना इज चेंजिंग its strategy. So China is realizing that its aggressive actions like its military pressure threats are actually pushing Taiwan away. So now China is trying to use the soft approach now and actually using the cultural, historical and emotional ties China is trying to use now. So China is changing its strategy. Now what is happening in the next point is that China is supporting Taiwan's opposition. So China's opposition is KMT party. So China is simply supporting Taiwan की opposition party that is KMT. So China is indirectly saying that if KMT comes in power in 2028, So peaceful reunification is possible. So peaceful unification is possible. But this is a political signal to Taiwanese voters also. Now, third point, if I tell you about, like what is happening between China's internal political parties is also dividing. So Taiwan's internal politics is divided. What is happening that current president, who is La Ching Te, is from DPP, and DPP says that Taiwan should stay separate. So what is DPP says that तो Taiwan है बिल्कुल separate रहना चाहिए. But KMT क्या बोलता है? KMT says that they have to maintain the relations with the China. So China is using this division to weaken the ruling party and to influence the future elections. To weaken the ruling party and to influence the future elections. So now China is using the division to weaken the ruling party and to influence the future elections. So this is the message to world also. What is the message to world? That so here is the location of China. You can see here is Taiwan, and here is China. So China considers Taiwan to be united in the China's territory, and China considers Taiwan to be united in the Taiwan's territory. So it is in the East China Sea, and you can say there is a strait. Which strait? We have seen that there is a Taiwan Strait between China and the Taiwan. So this is the major China's location and the Taiwan's location. So now what messages China want to translate to the United States or to the world? China is also targeting the United States. Why? Because US supports China. US जो है, he supports China. No, he supports Taiwan. Sorry, US supports Taiwan military, and China wants to show that Taiwan issue can be solved peacefully without US interference. So simply there is a contradiction. Why China says that it wants a peaceful solution, but simply see why it is known as a gamble or a gambit. Because China says that it want peaceful solution, but simultaneously what he is doing that, but in return it refuses to officially talk with the China's current government, and so expose doubt that China's real intention. So that's why the visit by Cheng Liyun, it may reduce the tensions, but also may risk the making Taiwan look divided also, and you can say the giving the China advantage. So some people in Taiwan fear that China could use such meetings for the propaganda. So simply this is a part of larger issue, Taiwan state conflict. China sees Taiwan as its territory, so Taiwan sees itself as a separate. So China wants reunification, US supports Taiwan, and Taiwan wants security plus democracy. So simply China is shifting from hard power to soft power. So to solve the political influence through opposition influence, not to the ruling party but through the oppositional parties. So Taiwan is politically divided. So China is trying to use the division strategically, because Taiwan is politically divided. There is a ruling party, that is Democratic Progressive Party, and there is a KMT party, Kumtok party, which is opposition party. So China is using KMT to influence, to make the influence in the Taiwan region. So that's why simply if I would say that overall China is shifting from hard power to the soft power, and Taiwan is politically divided, and the global powers like the US are deeply involved. So that's why this situation is described as Beijing's strategy and Taipei's risky move. Okay, so if you find this explanation